Blue Beetle was supposed to take the summer by storm and be a massive film to get the DCU back on track after The Flash lost money, but things don't seem to be going well for it because it has now had the second worst DCEU debut ever. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media so you can see when my content is posted, and of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and live streams I create, consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So starting with this JoBlo.com article, it says weekend box office, Blue Beetle has second worst DCEU debut. Now, I had a lot of skepticism when it came to this movie. I didn't think it was going to do all that well, but I like to be pleasantly surprised because if it did well, that would probably mean that it was not a terrible film, but unfortunately, leading up to launch, the writing was on the wall. We heard all of these claims that, it just tackled so many important themes and topics, and it was going to be different than anything else you've seen in the DCEU, and unfortunately, it did so poorly for them, it doesn't even look like it's going to make any money like we've seen time and time again with these films. Unfortunately for the creatives and the executives behind this project, I think it's kind of funny. But it says, in our predictions from Thursday, we posed the question, can Blue Beetle narrowly defeat Barbie? The comments were filled with people who found the question preposterous, saying no way Barbie falls to the Beetle. However, it appears our prediction of 25 million for Beetle was pretty spot on. Now, it did technically beat Barbie at the box office, but you have to consider Barbie has been out for 5 weeks at this point, and it's already made over $1 billion. It was eventually going to fall to some movie, and it just happened to be Blue Beetle. I do not think we can sit here and say, haha, Blue Beetle did so much better than Barbie, because again, Barbie's already been out for weeks at this point. It's already made its money, but it says opening with just 25.4 million. That opening represents the second worst opening in the entire DCEU. Technically, Wonder Woman 1984 did worse with 16.7 million, but that opening has a massive asterisk next to it as that opening day and date with HBO Max and was during a time when barely anyone was going to movie theaters because of the pandemic. So yes, I do think if Wonder Woman 1984 had launched now when we were not in the middle of the pandemic, I do think its numbers would have beaten Blue Beetle. Even though Wonder Woman 1984 was not a good movie, it still had a lot of hype behind it because people did enjoy the first Wonder Woman. It says, though, it has been a steady slide for the DC brand, and we have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom still to come. I personally do not think that Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is going to do as good as the first Aquaman film because of Amber Heard. I think that people are going to boycott it. I do think that a lot of people are right now just kind of sick and tired of superhero films in general. I love superhero movies, don't get me wrong, but even I am a bit fatigued with them, and it's not just fatigue from these bad movies. The problem is that so few good ones are coming out. You never know which ones are going to be the good ones, and then you don't end up supporting it because you are so worried that all of the good reviews that you're reading are shill reviews and fake reviews. So it's very hard to wade through the trash. I would love for there to be another good set of films coming out. I just don't see that happening anytime soon. I had no hype for Blue Beetle. I don't have any hype for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I don't have any excitement for the new Superman film that James Gunn is planning either. I just don't know where they're going that is going to get someone like me reinterested and my interest rejuvenated in the DCEU. And not only does this mean that Blue Beetle failed in its opening weekend, but the film fared worse than even projections. This is a Bounding Into Comics article. It says Warner Brothers bet big on identity politics in order to market the film, and it completely failed in the film's opening weekend, with the estimated gross performing worse than initial projections. This poor opening weekend box office underperformed projections from both Deadline and Variety. If the early estimates hold, they predicted predicted the film would gross between 28 and 32 million domestically in its opening weekend. Now, I do think that Blue Beetle failed for multiple reasons. Not only do we have superhero fatigue going on, we have a lot of people who are not very confident in the future of the DCU/DCEU, just the general direction they're heading in right now. But I do also think that the marketing hurt this film. When the first trailer launched and we heard the Batman is a fascist line, I know so many people attacked this movie, attacked the creatives, and said there is no way in hell I am supporting this. And I know a lot of people really like the lead actor because he was in Cobra Kai, and I agree. It sucks because a lot of times this stuff is out of an actor's control, and even if they're, a good actor and not a Rachel Zegler who says dumb shit and pisses people off, they still get shafted by a bad movie. When you're a younger actor like him, a job's a job, and now he's gotten caught up in the political messaging the film pushes, which isn't his fault. And I feel like that's important to point out. I don't want to support this movie because of the studio, not because of the actor. Like, I hated the movie Barbie, but I love Ryan Gosling. He's fantastic at what he does, and it felt like he viewed Barbie as such a joke, he just went with it. But yeah, I didn't support Barbie even though he was in it, and I love that actor, but I feel kind of bad for this actor because he got caught up in this entire shitstorm. And right now, the scores for this film are pretty good, but again, when almost nobody is going to see it, you end up with scores that are skewed like this because only people who were really excited and these mega fans and the shills are seeing it, so they're leaving these very positive reviews, but most normal, audience members and most normal moviegoers are not going to see it, so you're not really getting their point of views. All Critic is at a 76, Top Critic is at a 67, Verified Audience at a 92, and All Audience at an 88. I'm sure that it is going to drop a bit, but if we see any significant box office number drop going into the second week, which we probably will, that means that so few people are going to go and see it, and you have to consider what percentage of those people are actually rating the movie, so it might stay higher even though a lot of people are not really going to see it. And as I mentioned, the political messaging behind this film was a major, major issue going into it after they, mocked audiences for being upset at the Batman's a fascist line. The director had completely changed their tune, asking moviegoers to give the film a chance. Leading up to launch, we heard that it included themes of displacement, colonialism, and gentrification, just a lot of things. I go, oh, okay, so I should go and see something else, right? Because these are not things that I want constantly shoved in my face when I'm going to the theaters, when I'm trying to see a superhero movie, and I just want to enjoy my time. But right now, Blue Beetle is a massive failure. Is it going to do better going into week 2? Most likely not. Is it going to see a massive drop-off? Probably. But as of right now, Blue Beetle has had the second worst DCEU debut ever, and things are not looking good for the studio. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.